Welcome to Movies and Milk, where today we're facing our demons by watching Late Night with the Devil and drinking. Nope. Not doing that. Not drinking that. Nope. Late Night with the Devil is a found footage film about a late night TV show host who, in a desperate attempt to boost ratings, brings a possessed girl on a show. And it goes about as well as you expect. Considering it's presented as a lost episode of a 70s TV show, the movie has style, and they really managed to nail the look and feel of those old talk shows, and it was a joy to watch. There are times where it breaks from that style to show behind the scenes of the show, which is important for exposition, but also feels like it betrays the format you just set up. But I didn't find it to be too big of a distraction either. The performances across the board are amazing, but God, it's so damn nice for David Dastmalchian to have a lead role after being a scene-stealing character actor for most of his career. And he's really good in this role as Jack Delroy. He's got this sort of smarmy, sarcastic, unlikable charisma that kind of nails that 70s celebrity. The world they've created, though, is incredibly captivating, from the characters they've taken from often real-life inspirations to the dynamic between the host and his guest both on and off camera. It was incredibly engaging to watch, just wondering what was going to happen next and what was real and what was imagined. And that's exactly how you would feel if you watched this show in a real-world scenario. It keeps you interested as a result when the scenes are just often people talking, because let's be honest, it's a talk show. But there's also lots of interesting practical effects and scary and tense moments that make it feel like an actual horror film. But there's also bits of levity, so it feels like a breezy watch, and certainly the short runtime helps that out. The ending is where it breaks into total insanity and over-the-top craziness in stark contrast to the rest of the film, but it was just mad enough that I think it worked. But not everything worked for me. I think some of the visual effects looked a little bit iffy. I mean, it's a tough line to walk. Do you make it look like a 70s effect so it looks suited to the era? Or do you do something new that could possibly ruin your immersion? And for me, the effects just looked a little bit too clean in comparison to the rest of the movie. And that's without mentioning the use of AI and some of the intertitles of the film, which is a real shame because it's the only real black mark against the film, and seems totally pointless that they use AI to begin with at all. I also think the framing device I set up at the start of the film is kind of totally forgotten about, and it just seems a little bit odd. Like, the movie starts with a narration of who the host is, what this episode is, and why they made this episode, and yet there's none of that later on in the film. And it just seems a little bit strange because there's definitely a case to be made for, if it's going to connect to the real world, you kind of need a real world explanation for what happens next. But I didn't want that either, because it would have ruined the mystique of the film. It just feels that they kind of wrote themselves into a corner. Regardless, Late Night with the Devil is worth staying up for. Sure, it's a little bit gimmicky at times and feels like it kind of breaks its own format and rules at other times, but it's still an excellent film with great performances across the board, and it will keep you fully engaged. It feels like a fun but horrific time capsule into the world of 70s late night talk shows. And an ending that turns it up to 11, even if that feels like it is a bit much. Late Night with the Devil has got milk. Yeah, I'm not drinking the blood.